Hi gang, welcome to CET 2793. Now, this course is a Windows Network Infrastructure course, and we deal primarily with Active Directory. Okay, there's an assumption at this point you have a familiarity with computer networking and how client servers interact with each other. So this course is set up currently using Blackboard, and as you can see on the screen, this is what it will pretty much look like when you log in. And I'll have a different video image there, and that video image will be this video that you're watching now. When we come down, I've got a list of course learning outcomes there. There are 10 outcomes, takeaways from this course. Those are things that along the way I'll make sure that you have mastered those skills and have a good understanding of them. So it could be in a lab, it could be in a test, but each one of those concepts will be addressed within this course. Below that section, we've got the student resources. Start here. And there's a note. You must read/complete each item in the Unit 00 folder. It's actually Module 00 folder, or this Student Resources folder. I'll correct that after I get this video done. To access future modules. So right now, this is all you can see. You can't see any of the course content. And it says you have to mark them as viewed along the way. So let's go ahead and enter into the Student Resources. And in Student Resources, we see a table of contents on the left. So there are a number of different things that exist within this folder. And here's some things that are quite important. So it says this CET 2793, you need to click the reviewed button on that welcome. Okay. It says we need to complete an ELO 1000 course and click the reviewed button. We see this symbol, that means those items are in a third-party content. We'll talk about that in a little bit, what that means. So there's some more pages that we can access. They're external to this course, but they are a component of the course. There's a schedule of course due dates. So where you're going to make your course or student introductions, and there's an assignment support form. Now the things where you see those yellow stars, you need to click the button at the bottom of those pages. So let's go to the next page. Here we are, we're at the welcome. On this welcome, if I scroll all the way to the bottom, mark reviewed. Now if I scroll down to the bottom, it's reviewed. That means I have reviewed all the content on this page. This is a welcome overview of the course, expectations, different resources and requirements associated with this course. There's the course learning outcomes. We spoke about them briefly before. Things you need to have before you start the course. Why are we doing what we're doing? Who do you go to see or contact when it comes to things like financial aid, advising, Center for Student Accessibility? I've got links here to all those resources. How do we communicate during the course? I've got that in there. Back to that logo. When you see that logo, that's third-party content, which requires your browser pop-ups to be enabled. If you do not have your pop-ups enabled, that third-party content will not be available to you. Google Chrome is the most effective browser with MindTap, and MindTap is what that symbol is. Now that's that third-party content that is associated with the course. You'll have to acquire an access code from the bookstore. You can have either a paper book or the digital book comes with that MindTap access code. And they've got late work policies. I've got this policy that I call my had a bad day policy. And this policy addresses things that could come up. You got sick. had to go to work unexpectedly, whatever it may be. And how I address those things rather than saying, all right, here's more work for you to do and more work for me to do because you didn't do what you were supposed to do when it was assigned. Rather than that, I'm dropping the lowest 2 MindTap assignment scores, the lowest 1 test score, the lowest 1 activities project score, the lowest 1 discussion, the lowest 1 reflection. Right? So those are automatically dropped. It's calculated into the gradebook. I've got where do you go to find tutoring? Where do you find your textbook? Whens. So these are all the who, what, where, whens, hows, whys. Let's go look at the next page. On this next page, it automatically popped up in a new tab, and it shows you how to walk through and complete the ELO 1000 course. Now, ELO 1000 is something that I need everybody to do. Okay? So it's a course. Just like you register for this course, ELO 1000 is a course. And that course is free. It helps you get an understanding of how to interact in this environment, how to submit assignments, where to go to find things. It doesn't take long to complete it. I've got information about it on that other page. Mark that reviewed. Pop that up again, and it says it takes approximately 2 hours to complete that course. We'll go ahead and move to the next page. If you have pop-ups enabled, when you click to launch this, it will then open up a new page and take you to Cengage. Now, you'll have to go through and create an account with Cengage and MindTap. If you have Cengage Unlimited, we access your account through this course, not through Cengage. Okay, so you can do everything you need to do from the link that I just provided you there that we just clicked on. Now, you've got a certain amount of time to complete some assignments without actually having paid for it. So you can register this and get free access for a short period of time. It's a short period of time. Don't take it for granted. Okay. Once you've created it, and when you create your account, you need to use your palmbeachstate.edu email address. If you use something else, it's not going to link to my course correctly. Now let's go look at the next one. It's another item within MindTap, another item with MindTap. So you got a few things to go look at in MindTap. We'll keep popping on through here. And you notice I'm not seeing the review tabs there because there were only a few that we had to see. This is one of the most important pages in the entire course. This is when things are due and what is due in this course. So on a specific date, those items are due. Okay. This will vary from term to term. Okay. So for the term that I'm recording this, July 19th, those items need to be done by 11:59, just shy of midnight on July 19th. Because come midnight, they will close. We got some items to complete by a certain date. Register your MindTap account that I just talked about, ELO 1000. If you've already taken it, you don't have to retake it. Review the page that I showed you earlier, that welcome page, and do a student introduction. Now, student introduction is the next page we're going to go look at. But make sure you have a good understanding of what's due, when it's due, so you can manage your time. We'll mark that reviewed. If you don't, like I said, you're not going to see any of the work that you have to complete in the course. So we'll go ahead and click next. If I click this to launch, that will take me into the discussions. Create a thread. Please take a few minutes to introduce yourself to the class. Here's who you are, your introduction. Say some things about you. Get to know the other people in this course because they are very important as we move forward. I'm going to go back and look in that student resources once again, and I'm going to look at, we did introductions. I can just go through this table of contents and click on any of the items and go directly to it. So you may be asked for a password in the MindTap Labs. If you forget it and they assume that once they've told you, you're going to remember it for forever. Well, we don't always. So I've got it character by character right there what that password is. So if you're in a MindTap Lab and it says, I need your password, pop back over here if you don't remember it. So the last page that we have is something that I call it an assignment support forum. Now this assignment support forum is a way for you to interact with other people in the class to get help, give help, share ideas, resources that you found. Hey, I found a great video. Check this out. Now this is a graded discussion. You need to post a minimum of 3 times during the term. That's the entire course. Not 3 times a module, just 3 times during the term. Now they need to be substantive, meaning you're either bringing something to the table or you're bringing a legitimate problem or question into the discussion. Not, hey, that's a good idea. Nice post. Glad to see you again. Now, those things have no substance. And I think we all have an understanding of what it means to be substantive or have substance in what you're saying. If we click right here, you can see the grading rubric. So here's what I'm looking for. It's proper English. It's you posted a thoughtful post. It was addressed the way it's supposed to be addressed. And you posted at least 3 times. Posted less than 3 times. Didn't participate. Now, with that said, this is huge. Anytime that you need help, I may not be there all the time. It may take you a day to get a response from me. You can reach out in here and potentially hear back from another student almost immediately in some cases. Okay, this is something new that I've added into my courses that has been huge. Right. I've got one other thing that I've added into the courses, and I'm going to go show you here. So remember I said you have to click on those things to be able to see the rest of the stuff. Now we can see the rest of the stuff here. Because we went through and marked as reviewed, I have access. If I missed any of the important little buttons and did not click them as reviewed, this still wouldn't be here. So let's go look in this first module. Well, let me back up a second and look at, for each module, if there's a project, I have it listed in there, what the project is. If there's course learning outcomes that are addressed or measured, I've got them listed as well. So we're introducing Active Directory in this first module. Now I've got an overview of what's here. I know because I've been working on this morning, there's still some videos I don't have listed here, but I've got some things for you to read. One is the first chapter, one's a lecture I've created, and then I've got a few videos for you to watch. They're not long, but they're important. We've got a discussion. It's a graded discussion. That assignment support forum that I talked about just a little while ago, it's not graded until Unit 9 or Module 9. And then there's some things that are suggested, they're optional, they're not graded. There's practice, it's a crossword puzzle, some flashcards, a PowerPoint presentation. These things in here, these suggested activities, they will help you with this Module 1 test. That Module 1 test, you can take it as many times as you want. until the due date. So if it's due 11:59 Sunday night at midnight, you won't be able to take it again. Now, over here on the left is that list of the things that are in Module 1. And if I click on Module 1 test, here it is. You got an hour to complete this test. Take it as many times as you want before the due date. It's a combination of true, false, and multiple choice questions. And the final exam is comprised of the questions that come to this. Now, I've done something new this term, and that is, instead of you only having limited access to this test until the end of the week or a specific date, and then it locks on you, you can't go back and review the questions again, I've got something in the last module that I've added in there, Module 9. No, it's in Module 10. Okay, go look at Module 10, and I've got these practice quizzes. MindTap has the exact same test, quiz, whatever you want to call it, that you're taking in Blackboard. So you go take the graded tests in Blackboard. Well, I've got links to the practice quizzes in MindTap that if you want to get ready for the final, here's where you can go do a little refresher. Okay, we jump back into Module 1. The last thing that you see in Module 1 is a reflection. It's also something else new that I'm adding into the courses. At the end of each course, there's a course evaluation that the college wants you to fill out. And that's you giving feedback on me, the course, things that took place. And in a sense, it's you looking back over the course of, depending on which course it is, it could be 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 14, 16 weeks. So they're asking you, hey, what did you think about the last 16 weeks? It's kind of hard to look back on everything that took place. So rather than only relying on that as the constructive feedback and criticism, whatever it may be from you, for me to make this course better for the next group, each module, there's a reflection. And there's 2 things I need you to tell me. And you're going to upload this as either a Word document, text file, PDF. It's up to you. There's a rubric on what I'm looking for, so you can go look at that later. The 2 things I want labeled as such. 1, what did you learn from this module that you feel will be most important in the future or in your career? So what happened in this module that you said, I can really see me using that a lot, or I'm really going to need this moving forward? The second aspect, separate, distinct, and marked separate, distinct from the first, was how smoothly did this module go for you? Include any difficulties, misunderstandings you may have had. If it was really smooth, let me know why. What helped you the most, and did you find something outside of the course that could have helped others that was beneficial to you? Share it with me. It may be, depending on when I've read this, and I do read these sometimes before the end of the week, if you shared a resource with me, it could end up in the course before the end of the week and help others. If not by the end of the week, it'll likely end up in the course to help the next group coming through this, because we're constantly getting better. This isn't the first time that we've delivered this course, and it won't be the last, and it's always going to improve to bring your stress level down. I don't want you stressed out. I want you learning. Okay? So you'll attach your file, right? And then you'll submit it. Right? So that will get your reflection done. So each of the things that you have here, I've got them, they're all listed, whether it's you participating in the discussion, and in these discussions, there's discussions in each module. You've got 3 posts that you need to make. The first one is your response to one of the topics that I've provided. So let's go look at that discussion. We've got 2 topics for you to choose from. There could be as many as 6 or 7 topics. So your first response, your main post, is a response to one of those topics. It needs to be at least 100 words, needs to be substantive, and needs to be your thoughts, ideas, and words. If you're using somebody else's idea or words, you better be citing them and giving them credit for what they did. Along with that, you also have to have at least 2 responses to other people's posts. Now those need to be at least 25 words. Now, you can have them longer than 50. I'm not knocking you for having them longer than 50. But if they're less than 25, you'll lose points. Okay? You need to post that first post before you can see somebody else's posts. You can't delete or edit your stuff after you've posted, and you can't post anonymously. Here's the rubric on what I'm looking for, and it's right there. Like I said, 100 words or more. It wasn't 100 words. It was way too brief, off topic, didn't address the question, whatever it may be. So you can see what's going to happen based on how you did. You know how well you did when you're responding. You know if it was 25 words or not. You know if you were just, here, let me try and get 25 words and it doesn't really mean anything. You know it when you're doing it. So there should be no surprises when it comes to what your grade is on these items. If I'm looking for 3 posts, you know where that fits in the rubric. If they met the minimum words, you know where that's at. If it was clear grammar and spelling and no issues there, boom, that's one of the criteria for grading. Okay? So over here on the left, we've got a calendar of what's due, that link to the modules, announcements that I may post from time to time, a link to the syllabus. The syllabus does not change during the course without me notifying you. The due dates do not change during the course without me letting everybody know ahead of time. There's your dashboard to see what's due when, everything that's happened. Course mail, reach out to me there, or reach out to me in my palmbeachstate.edu email address. Okay. If you do in the palmbeachstate.edu address, please include CET2793 268-586 or whatever your CRN number is. That way I know which course you're emailing me about. I could have 400 students at a time. And it's not that you're not important, it's I need to know where to go look to find you. Oh, I remember you. But if you're taking 2 courses at the same time from me, which one are we talking about? Because there's a lot of overlap. And then there's your grades. So, that being said, I said there's the course calendar. The course calendar has everything in Blackboard noted in that calendar. Your due dates. Where do you find your due dates? You know where the due dates are now. They're in that student resources section. There it is, right there, schedule of due dates. Now, that schedule of due dates, if I went and looked at the calendar, I'd see the reflection. I'd see that project. I'd see the discussion. I'd see the quiz in that calendar. But I wouldn't see those other 3 MindTap items. The MindTap items, the due dates are listed here, but not in this calendar. All right. So it's a quirk of how these things work together. I can't set a due date in Blackboard for a MindTap item, but I can tell you when it's going to be right there. That lab is due on July 19th. Now you know, there should be no surprises. Well, I didn't know that was due because I didn't see it on my calendar. Here's the calendar of due dates, and here's some reminders for you. Okay? If you got questions, shoot me an email message. I usually get back pretty fast. I'm glad you're in the course, and we'll talk soon.